to the Mind and Money podcast. I'm Sherry, a financial coach.
And I'm Val, a financial planner. And today we are talking about things that we have spent money on or invested in upfront or earlier and how it's saving us in the long run. I guess let's start off with the shoe one. So Sherry and I are both runners. Live, laugh, run. We love to run. So when it comes to running shoes, quality is important. You can get some really cute ones off Amazon, but cute and cheap. The quality isn't necessarily there. So we invest in shoes that are high quality. They're going to last us. And Sherry was actually talking about at our last run, the shoes that you bought, that they were the same form or same type, but you didn't love the color. But tell us about that, because that's a piece too where you made a sacrifice for the right price.
Yes. And I think too, it's like, in the last few years, I've really done away with giving any shits about what people think about me, which I highly recommend. It's very freeing. And I say that, but
we should do next. How to give less fucks and less shits about what people think about you. Because it's not easy.
Yeah, it's not easy, but it's so freeing. And I don't care if people think that I'm, not put together enough when I go out in my tights or my jogging pants. And I like what I like. And I don't like trying to find new running shoes, for example. When I first started running, I went through a lot of challenges because I was getting blisters on the end of my toes and on my arches. Then I found shoes that worked for me, and I have purchased those shoes on repeat. They've changed versions over the years, and then I got to one. I've had to find some new ones along the way, but the most recent ones I bought, they were on sale. They're normally, I think, $170, and I think they were on sale for $89. And they're not a color that I like, but my feet go so fast nobody can tell. Just kidding, I'm a slow runner, and that's okay. Go at your own speed. But I bought 2 pairs because then I know I've got that next shoe and I don't have to go looking for the next one. And
buying it at double price.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Yep.
Right?
So I bought multiples. I even saved myself time from looking for the next one. But it just helps me to be able to be more prepared further out, and spending that money allowed me to ultimately save money in the long run because I got the shoes on sale. I purchased 2 for close to the price of what one would have been had I thought that I needed a different color. So sometimes in situations like that, you can stock up within reason, within your space constraints, so that you are able to take advantage of the deal for more than one pair of shoes in this example, for something that does have a shelf life.
So I have a similar example, except I didn't make a large investment. It was the end of summer, and our Deans, which I know their shoes typically fail pretty quickly. You're not typically getting more than one summer out of them, but with these, I actually have been. But I saw their sandals were on sale, and my sister had bought a pair. So I bought 4 of very similar sandals, and I haven't bought shoes in two summers, and I won't be buying them next year because I still have 2 sets in my summer toe. So spent $40 on 4 pairs of shoes. And that side isn't the quality piece, but it allows me to know that I've shopped for them. I've got them. They're all very neutral. I like them. They're easy. But if something happens to them, if they fall apart, if I lose them, if I leave them somewhere, I'm not like, oh my gosh, those were my favorite Birkenstocks. Or if they get wet or I step on something. Like we were traveling and the one girl was wearing Birkenstocks, and I love Birkenstocks too, but you have to be so mindful of them. I am too much of a freaking toddler that I cannot think about those things. I'm like, I just want to walk through this puddle and I don't care. So that's another example in a different way.
Yep.
And
it's knowing yourself.
Yes.
Right? And knowing if you are prone to walk somewhere and go home barefoot, buy the flip-flops or the summer sandals that are not the best quality and a lower price. But then maybe on the flip side too, like a pair of good quality winter boots. If you invest in a good pair that's going to be waterproof, keep your feet dry, take a lot of wear and tear, you can then spend some more money, and then you're not replacing them when they start falling apart every year. And I hope that you don't walk home barefoot in the winter so that this wouldn't be applicable, that you would be potentially losing them or leaving them behind.
I wanted to talk, because we're talking about running shoes, very quick side road here. Hokas, which are very popular right now. They're a running shoe. I am floored. I was just on Marketplace and there was a girl who ran a half or a full marathon in them. She was still selling them for 100 or 120. So, and she's like, lots of cushion left. Like, we're talking about used running shoes.
How much do they retail for new?
They go, the ones I've seen, I think like a very lowest price would be like 150 to 2 to 3.
Well, it's average for a good quality shoe.
Right. But you can't, like, you've put a lot of miles on those. You can't resell them for that.
And you gotta shoot your shot though.
Yeah. But I have it's a lot of social media. It's like Nike. It's like any freaking media brand that becomes cool. Everyone's getting it because it's cool. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't know.
Again, this is from social media, but I've seen things that, like, specifically Nike shoes aren't great for running.
Yeah.
And, like, you have to know what's good for your body and your feet and find what works for you. And
I think Hoka's, and maybe I'll get a set one day, but I think they just became trendy because, and they're clunky mother truckers. They are thick. They are platform running shoes. I do wonder, do you remember when Skechers made those shoes that rolled?
I think, yeah.
Did you get a set?
No.
Yeah, no. I thought they were just crazy dangerous. But like,
you're supposed to lift your bum.
Yes.
Do some squats.
It's super cute. Like, that's kind of what Hokas remind me of. Yeah. But they put a different spin on it. So
I think that they're ugly, and, like, you do you, of course, no judgment ever, but
if you're wearing them, Sherry thinks they're ugly.
Like, but I also think my current running shoes are ugly too. So
yeah, I think, yeah.
You wear what you want to wear. Like, comfort. For me, I choose comfort over anything else.
Yes.
And if you choose fashion and looking trendy, it takes all kinds. And I appreciate you and don't judge you at all. So just knowing that, be who you want to be and let other people be who they want to be. And
yeah, that's really not a judgment on people. I'm just like separating it in my brain.
Yeah.
You think the shoe is ugly, but you don't think the person's ugly. Why the shoe?
We're getting deep. Okay, what can we talk about next? Okay, here is 2 areas where I have invested more money up front to save me money in the long run. And these are things that just really align with my values. So the first example is earlier this year, I think. Time blindness makes me know that it's maybe not this year, but I invested in a red light mask for my face and then one for my neck and chest area. And yes, I know we can all age gracefully, but I want to take some drinks from the fountain of youth. And that investment means that I don't feel tempted to go and get cosmetic fillers or anything like that. So it's a longer term investment. It's going to last me for hopefully a long time, but then it allows me to do some like preventative stuff for my skin that has longevity to it. And then the other example, I'm sure I've talked about this before, but I purchased a couple of years ago and like not a high end, but like a decent investment. I think I spent $700 on an espresso machine, and that allows me to now have a high quality drink similar to Starbucks at home I've never added up what it actually costs, but it's
a fraction,
significantly less than Starbucks.
Yes.
And it gives me control over what goes into them, and I can tweak them to my desire on any given day. And it brings me joy to be in my kitchen, showing up however I want, whether I'm in my pajamas or whatever that may be. And I have a drink that makes me happy. And I think a lot of that is what I make my spending decisions on. Like, is this going to add value to my life and bring me joy?
When it comes to another one that's similar is investing in workout equipment or machinery or weights in your home instead of the gym membership each month. So yes, larger upfront investment, but now you have something you can work out in socks. You can work out in what you want. For some people, it doesn't work. For some people, they need the gym membership to place the commitment. For me, I like it. I like YouTube workouts too, but that's one. So the investment up front versus the long-term investment, longer term.
Yep. And also for me, working out at home saves me laundry because I work out in a sports bra and shorts, which not to say that I wouldn't at the gym, but I would maybe hesitate and not feel comfortable. But in my house, I'm just like, wear what I want to wear. Yeah, I don't have to put shoes on.
Saves you time. Your commute is zero. Saves you gas. Your commute is zero.
Yep.
And it saves me probably the temptation of being like, oh, I've worked out. I deserve a treat.
Because you're out.
Right?
Yeah, good call.
Yeah.
And it's like less distraction, which I know it could be the opposite for some people working out at home. But if I was at the gym and I saw somebody I know that I haven't talked to in a while, I might go over and have a little chitty chat versus here. I'm just like, put on a workout video, do what the nice person tells me to do, and then I'm done. Whereas at the gym too, you can be like, oh, I was supposed to do this on this machine, but it's taken. So now I can't. So now I have to dilly-dally around until that machine's available. So yeah.
I am also an audiobook lover, and I used to do Audible's monthly subscription, which was like $15 a month. But then I found I was doing more than one book, and I was just buying the book anyways. So I was out using my subscription. So I have an annual one that's 24 credits, which is 24 books, and it renews every February, which is a couple $100, $350. I'm now seeing in my library that I probably should cancel that for this year and just read what I have. Spotify's also been great they have a lot of books on there that you don't pay for.
Hoopla. Do you Hoopla?
No.
Hoopla. So if you have a library card, if your library is associated with them, you can get, it's like ebooks and audiobooks, but you can get, I think it's either 4 or 6 free a month.
Sweet. Yeah. So I definitely can save myself $300 something this year.
Yeah.
But that was one. But yeah, that's another example.
And yeah, when I think of it too from a business perspective, paying annually versus paying monthly, generally, most of the services that I use, you're saving yourself the equivalent of 2 months of the service. So when it's something that you know you're going to use, and I generally try and start with monthly and then go annual, because then I know I'm utilizing it, versus like you sign up for something annual, which is how they like to get you sometimes, is you sign up for annual and then 2 months later you're not using it, but you paid for annual. So you can try and get a refund, but not always.
One that is more work-based, it's a bit of a time investment up front, but it saves you in the long run in terms of time and effort, which is money in the end, is a scheduler. So Calendly, I pay for it, but it's what it saves me. I invest in it, but it saves me.
Yeah. And if you are an entrepreneur and you have the need to meet with clients or anybody, I highly recommend, like, there are free options, and I started with a free option, but the ease of having a scheduler versus trying to figure out when 2 people can meet, it's a game changer. Not necessarily money, but again, I pay for my scheduler annually, so I do save money. So find one you like.
Yes.
And as your business starts to gain traction and have more steady income coming in, think about what you can switch to annual. And when I did that in my business, I kind of started switching gradually, so I don't have everything coming out 1 month of the year. So I try and spread them out so that those larger payments are coming out throughout the year, not all at once. So think about areas in your life. Just pay attention to where you're spending money and think about, is there alternatives that if you invested a little more upfront, you could save for years of your life? And then if there is, then the next question is, how do you get that money to invest upfront? Because that can be a challenge. So just think about putting a little bit of money away each time. If it's something like the espresso maker, think about
cutting your takeout coffees for a chunk of time.
Yeah. Could you go down and buy, like, if you get one every day, could you get 2 less a week and put that money aside, or get a regular coffee instead of a latte? Yeah. Think about the options, because there's the joy that having some of those things can bring you is just the joy of making coffee in my pajamas. I don't know. I'm really focused on the simple, slow life and being able to work out at home. And really, this is probably not the best for my mental health, but some weeks when the weather is shit, I'm at home a lot. Like, there are some days where it's like, it's Wednesday. I haven't left the house since Sunday. And I do try and get out for walks and stuff like that when the weather's nice to get some sun on my face. But I am completely content to be at my house and have my virtual meetings with my clients, who I love them to death because they're fucking amazing. And just slow life. I spend enough time. we always take a turn. The actual episode title may or may not
Yes.
represent less than 50% of what we talked about. So yeah, focus on what you want in life and how you can reduce your expenses today to invest in things in the future and spend your money how you want. And if you're not spending your money how you want, how can you change it?
Yes.
So that's our challenge to you today.
Thanks for listening.
Have a great day, and we'll see you next time on the Mind and Money Podcast.